All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm actually interviewing one of my students who I've been working with for about 6 months now, who started from scratch and built his agency business to over $40,000 a month in profit for him and his girlfriend, Danique. His name's Bastiaan, and he's one of my good friends now at this point in the business, and to see him grow truly from like a state where he was a little bit lost kind of just in life, nonetheless in business, to now seeing an incredible business and building something that many people aspire to have, you know, even in their 50s, 60s, 70s. You know, he's done it at 21 years old. It's kind of wild to honestly be a part of his journey and to have helped him. And this might sound like kind of insane to some people. This might sound like completely unrealistic. This might sound like it might even be fake to some of you, but really you can look into him. He's a real person with a real business, serving real clients, and you can find him online. So I'll actually leave some links to some of his stuff down below. And if you're in the course, in the online, it's a six-figure marketing consultant program that I sell, you actually see this guy's coaching calls, and you see that he's a real guy with real problems in his business, and I've been able to help him grow it. So I just wanted to have a long interview with this guy and bring him onto the channel to sort of show you really how far someone can go with the strategies that I teach when you apply them, make them work in all areas of your life, and you just take it seriously. Because I think a lot of people, they're sort of just here just to make an extra buck or two. They're just here to, like, you know, start a fun business on the side, maybe just be a side hustle. But hopefully myself and hopefully this student can be an example of, like, really you can take this above and beyond like what anybody thought possible. And really there's a whole new standard to breach. There's really like, you know, reaching, you know, six figures is kind of just like, that's like a hygiene standard, right? With how much value you can bring to your clients when you have the right team, the right processes in place, it just becomes, you just start playing on a whole new field. And that's really where I got Bastiaan too. I really, from the start of us working together, I worked on his headspace, I worked on his mindset, his perspective on the world and on life. And the technical stuff, kind of we just solved it along the way. We just made sure that, you know, as we were running into issues, we solved them. But you'll see in this interview that the primary thing we worked on really, truly was his headspace, his mindset, his perspective. Because there's all kinds of things that he ran into, all kinds of balls and chains that you hear about in this interview that you'll realize maybe even you have and you need to work on as well. So hopefully this is a video that really changes some people's lives, because it's pretty phenomenal the amount of impact you know, the principles and sort of strategies that I've shared with him have had in his life. It's kind of wild, actually. I didn't really see it going that far with him, but really it's expanded my mind and shown me just how much impact what I'm doing can have in an individual's life. And I was also able to spend New Year's with him in Amsterdam back when he was living in the Netherlands. And what happened was, you know, I realized that this is like a real person that I've actually helped. And when you're in business, a lot of the time, like on the internet, you kind of forget what you're doing. You kind of forget that it's real people and real clients. And that's one thing that we talk about in this interview as well, is really making it real and making and helping you realize what you're really doing for people. So with that being said, I think I've said enough. I've said enough in this introduction. Hopefully you enjoy this student interview. Everything that I've taught him can be found in the online course. Literally everything. We go about client attraction methods, how to sell, mindset training, even everything that we've talked about on this interview really references directly things that are in the online program. So if you're interested in that, we've got a link in the description detailing everything that you'll get with it. Or you can also schedule a call with myself one-on-one to see if you're qualified for one-on-one coaching. You can use the link down below, treycockrum.com/coaching. If you're not qualified, I will get you into the program on that call, get you onboarded, and see if that's a good fit for you as well. So that being said, hope you enjoy this video. If you do, be sure to leave a positive comment down below, leave a like on the video, or if you're seeing this in another place like a Facebook group or an email of some kind, just be sure to provide some positive feedback and support Bastiaan and really what I'm doing here with the Six-Figure Marketing Consultant online course. So thanks once again, Bastiaan, for giving us your time today. It's really valued. And yeah, on to the interview. All right, Bass, welcome to the channel, dude. It's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah, man. Like we have had this like interview planned for like kind of a long time now. So, you know, happy to be here, dude.
Really long time. I'm looking forward to it, dude. I think, you know, you right now are, you know, like I wanted to have this in person, but like we're both just so busy. Like you're scaling so quickly that literally for you to fly to the US would just be stupid. Like you just need to focus on this right now.
Yeah, true, man. That is
Yeah.
really true.
Yeah. So that being said, man, I kind of, as you know, as I told you before we started recording, I would record my own like sort of introduction for you and who you are and where you've been, but really kind of in your own words, tell your story. Like, you started working, I think, with me one-on-one about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I remember just like a completely different Bass. Like, you have literally, like, not only are you doing $40,000 to $50,000 a month with your girlfriend included, you are, but you're like a different person entirely. So just kind of share. I'm just gonna let you talk for a minute, man, and I'm just gonna ask some good probing questions and really dig in with you. And also, if you were in person, obviously I'd be giving you your lion ring, but can't do
Yeah.
that either.
Yeah.
So it's a bit unfortunate, but I figured this works for now. So yeah, dude, just share your experience, man. What has it been like? Sort of just very openly share even the struggles that come with it and what you've had to
Yeah.
deal with and the highs and the lows, man. So let's just start from the beginning here.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, like, I'll introduce myself first. So, my name is Bastiaan Slot, and I'm 21 years old, and I was born and raised in the Netherlands. And before I signed up with Trey, what I was doing, I was actually an in-house agency for an info product company where I was building out a sales team, training sales reps, doing their PR, doing social media content. So, kind of like a generalist, you could say. And like I was still under their wing, so that was kind of the position I was at when before I was working with Trey. And so, when I felt like I capped with that, what happened was I wanted to go down my own path, right? So that's kind of what happened. I was looking for kind of not a way out, but like a nice, smooth transition. And so what I really did, because my main intention was to start a fitness personal brand, actually, because I was really into fitness. But then I just literally went on YouTube. I typed in like how to start a consulting business, and the person who popped up was Trey, and I directly resonated with him. And what happened was I booked in a call with Trey, and on the first call, like, we just matched, and, like I enrolled into his coaching program, and that's like where things really kicked off. And, we started mid-August. So that was kind of like, the
Yeah.
starting point and where I was before working with Trey.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's been an insane journey since then. I remember like on the first call, like, because I always do a little like pre-call, like kind of stalking. Like I found you on Instagram and I was like, dude, this guy's kind of ripped. Like you were getting into the fitness like coaching thing. I was like, this guy's kind of like,
Yeah, dude.
your thighs are huge, dog.
Dude, that's so funny. Oh my God. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, entrepreneurship has like cut it in half now, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was completely first trying to immerse myself into fitness, but then I had so much agency experience from doing it myself and then going to six figures and then really going to the education side of things. So that's where like Trey helped me kind of like blow up and leverage like the audience that I had built up by just giving value, never really charging for education or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And so you're kind of as well, I think a piece of this as well is one of the clients you worked with is now your girlfriend and you're now living together and you're doing
Yeah.
business together. So kind of explain that part of your journey as well, because like that's kind of nuts. Like, you've not just started a business, but really you've kind of built a life around this thing too. Like you've gone from zero to like $40,000 to $50,000 a month in 6 months. And also you're building like an entire new life around this thing. And I don't think that's like what everybody's aiming to do, but you've done it and it's like perfect for you. And I don't know, just explain that, like how you've arrived at like a totally new like way of living.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and explain that. So, obviously before that, when I was working with Trey, like I was, as most entrepreneurs are, they're really by themselves and typically alone, and some are obviously in a relationship. But in my case, I was really alone, really had an introverted character. And I kind of like internally still am, but like I love talking to people now, and I just love doing that generally. But however, I remember talking to Trey, and business was doing well. I was hitting 10K quite quickly, just after working with him, which was like a month after working with him. But then I also really stumbled upon like a lot of mindset issues, right? As to is what I'm doing right? Am I going down the right direction? And a lot of questions to myself that Trey helped me answer. But then also, I remember telling Trey, like, man, dude, I need like a girlfriend, man. Like, I need someone to talk to. I feel like so lonely. And then, like at the time, Dani was my student. And basically, we just like I helped her with her agency. She was doing like I believe like 7K a month at a time, And, you know, like I just helped her like kind of build out our team. But aside of that, we really clicked. I wasn't like flirting on the coaching call or anything like that. I feel like, you know, that's inappropriate. But outside of that, we just really became good friends, and we became like super close. And so like after a period of time, I left Serbia, right? Because that's where I was like doing the in-house agency stuff where I was making 6 figures. And so I went back to the Netherlands, and that's really where the consulting business blew up, but also my personal life, right? Where I like established and put a foundation down for my relationship. And so what happened like a month after, you know, like being in touch with her, because it's not typical for like the coach to transition from like a coach-student relationship to like, you know, like a man-female relationship, right? But it went really naturally and really clicked. It was never like forced or anything like that. Really like shared the same values. And, you know, we had great conversations, and that's really where it all started. So like I met her at like in Amsterdam. I was just like doing a little student meetup, and I actually got to meet her through a friend of mine who's also doing SMMA. His name is Niels. And that's like how it happened, man. And then like in October, we started dating, and then like it turned into a relationship. And I know like throughout that whole period of time of trying to establish that, I always went to Trey and asked him like, hey dude, what should I do? Like, what should I tell her? Because I was never really good with girls. And I'm not saying like I'm, you know, a master with girls now, but at least like I've overcome like a huge fear of mine. So that's like really how it happened. You know, like that was the starting point. Right now we're living together, and honestly, even like talking about, you know, marrying each other. So, you know, like those are some huge steps from going, you know, like from a lonely entrepreneur to, you know, luckily finding her on my path and establishing this really strong relationship. And that's like how it all happened in, you know, like a short summary.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah,
It's honestly wild. Like, you know, I think that's the thing, dude, is, you know, it's more than just like a shift in like how you run your business. Like for me, the biggest thing that I work with people on, and I think you can probably confirm this, Bass, is just their perspective and their mindset. And like, and I let that play out into, you know, the rest of their life. Like that is the biggest, most important thing is what's your perspective and how are you operating and what are your foundational beliefs, and that plays such a huge role. Like honestly, the reason Bass has moved so quickly compared to, you know, a handful of students of mine is that like, you know, we really focused hard on false beliefs, mindset issues. Like we nailed the technical, like client attraction systems, client results delivery systems, how to invoice, how to manage the books, all this stuff. Like that's all important. And like I teach it in the course, I teach it one-on-one, but truly like your perspective, your mindset, how you view yourself, how you view your business. Like I think didn't I have you read like Psycho-Cybernetics early on?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first books I had you read, right?
Yes, exactly. Because, you know, I had a poor self-image too without me even realizing it, right? I looked at myself really poorly, and that's where you came in. And, you know, like I feel you always recommend that book because it's an amazing book. So Psycho-Cybernetics definitely helped me with, you know, like just improving my self-image. But yeah, dude, I remember reading that book, and that was like a great shift for me from like looking at myself super poorly to, you know, like the person I essentially want to become. And that was like a huge shift for me because I remember we covered like 2 to 3 calls technical and sometimes like another few micro things, but mainly really 80% mindset for sure.
Yeah. It was like 80% mindset for sure. Like you run into a technical issue and be like, hey, how do I handle this? And be like, it's just like, fix this just like this. It's like easy.
Yeah.
Like with getting results for clients, it's like, you know, oh, like I don't feel like I'm getting enough results for these people. Like, well, you know, you've got the wrong perspective. Just change this. Just do this instead. Like, you know, it's all technical is easy to fix.
Yeah.
Even honestly, where I'm at in my business, you know, where I'm at, you know, a very similar level to even Bass right now. Like we're pretty similar in revenue right now, and which is crazy to say. And honestly, like I like did not anticipate helping somebody start and then be like almost pretty much where I'm at. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know that many educators in the space too who like want their students to succeed more than them. Like I literally want you to be at, you know, $100,000 a month in profit, you know, $150,000, $200,000 a month in profit. And we do that just by continuing. And I'm actually still working with you and Danique as well. We're going to continue to scale you guys. And primarily, even still, it's just mindset stuff. It's just your guys' perspective, and it's just how you view your business and how you view yourselves. And that's really what I work on with you too. And so, yeah, that being said, though, I mean, you know, you talk a lot about these false beliefs, these mindset issues. Like, what were some of the core ones that you were facing as you were starting? Like, you know, I know like $10,000 a month in profit from your business probably was like insane when you were first starting. Like, what were some of the issues? What were some of the conflicting beliefs that you were struggling with in making that happen?
Yeah, for sure. So like, I used to believe, and this is like an analogy Sam often gives too, is, I had to like put a lot of stuff in the back in order to give people, like the value, they think they're going to get out of my service, right?
Hmm.
So the clients, and basically that made it really hard for me to, see the value of my own service. And what you did for me
Mm.
was really make things simple and just showing that, all consulting really is providing like a transformation. And whether you make it like a really complex process or a simple process is up to you, right? And
Yes.
that's really what you help me with, like seeing things from like a simple perspective and really detecting the key elements that actually move the needle for you, so you can actually grow and enjoy your business. You're not gonna like enjoy every single aspect of it, but
Yeah.
that's really what simplicity did for me once I implemented it, and you showed me like how I could implement it for my own business during like our
Yeah.
coaching together. And
Yeah.
that's like, I
Minimalism in
believe,
business, man.
exactly. So my mindset was basically the biggest false belief I had was like, okay, things need to be complex. If, I like, if they're complex, then it's good. That was my
Hmm.
belief.
Hmm.
So you erase that, you show me like how simplicity, based on the key elements that move the needle and just like executing on those, like will lead to an enjoyable life and a business that grows like in a healthy way. So I
Dude,
believe that is
that's
the
some
biggest
good
one.
insight. That's some good insight.
Yeah.
I think a lot of students who are like, I've got a lot of people following me. I don't have a lot of like true beginners. Most people who
Yeah.
follow on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever it is, they've got an agency, they've got one or two clients. They're at like $2,000 to $5,000 a month. If you're not there and you're watching this, totally cool. You
Yeah,
scratch, that's fine too.
definitely.
But I think a lot of the problem is they think it's complicated. And just like you, they're like, okay, to get to $10,000 a month, I have to introduce more complexity. My
Mm,
argument is make it as simple, as minimal as possible, and scaling will be easier, not harder. Like
yes.
people think by doing more, you'll make more. That is just so not true.
No,
Do
no.
less and make the less that you do more productive. It's sort of the concept of um, concept efficiency versus productivity. It's a big one. A lot
Yep.
of entrepreneurs are like type A personalities, and type A personalities, um, they want productivity and productivity to be measured.
Yes.
And often that's
Yes.
measured in money or like a to-do list being scratched off. Like literally, like scratching something off a to-do list for a type A personality is like crack. It's like
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
so good, But that's
Exactly.
the thing is you can actually get lost in just doing stuff that doesn't actually matter. And
Yep.
so to scale to $10,000 a month, it's as simple as knowing who you're serving, knowing how you're serving them. That's the first step. Then you got to know how to attract them and how to sell them. And once you have those elements, like that is all you need, and you just focused on that hard, and that's all you did for the past 6 months. And now look at you guys, $40,000 to $50,000 a month in
Yeah.
profit. Honestly, that's a given when you focus and narrow things in as much as Bass has.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, what would be sort of your advice to somebody who feels sort of like, now that they've heard me say this, they feel like they're overcomplicating things. They're like, oh, frick, I am kind of making things too complicated. I'm not
Yeah.
really narrowing down. Like, how do you narrow down? Where do you even begin with that?
Yeah. Just ask yourself, what is your objective, right? What is your objective? Because if you don't know what you want, then you don't know what to do, right? So determine for yourself, in my current stage of my agency, whether maybe setting the foundations or setting up the outreach streams or doing the sales calls, right? What is my objective currently? Do I want to set the foundations? Okay, let me focus on that instead of like building a website out of like thin air, right? So determine for yourself, what is your objective and what are like the key elements that are like going to take me to my objective, and then you take the action, because you don't want to like make things too theoretical, because that it's not the same as the practical side of things, right? And I think like a lot of people also that come from like 9 to 5 jobs and going to school, they think like that more input equals a lot of output, right? While
Mm,
entrepreneurship is the exact opposite. Okay, so like make that key switch in your mindset, and that's going to take you like already further than you currently are. Okay, if you're not like
yeah,
having that kind of like insight as to when you're running your business.
yeah,
So that's like a piece of advice I would give to those people.
yeah. And even like I even started adopting that mindset of in my agency too, where with my agency for my clients, like we've spent this month on a client account like $2,000 and made them back like $8,000. Like that kind of
Yeah,
return,
that's
it's it's
sick.
it's not very common, especially in the info product space. And what we've done is it's just like one set of ads that we're narrowing in, one funnel, one offer, one script on the sales calls, keeping things super minimal.
Yeah,
And like when
exactly.
you keep things minimal like that, then yeah, all of your variables, what works, what doesn't. And I think
Yes.
Bass, right now his at the stage that he's at with his company, he's having like a lot of sales calls pretty much every day. And
Yeah.
I bet you, Bass, you can confirm this for me, that you have a specific way that you hop on these calls. You know how to handle them. You know how to handle objections. You know how to handle, like, because you've narrowed in one process. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like there's just what, like if you have one niche and one offer, you have one proven sales process that you can just repeat and repeat again, right? And obviously I know, because for myself, I don't use a script anymore, but I know for some people, like it's a great starting point, but you also have to learn to like see it from a script to a structure, and then simply something that you can like do at the top of your head, right? That's like essentially the process you want to go down on with sales, a script, and then the script becomes a structure, so you don't like exactly read the question of the script, for instance, and then just it becomes like a naturality.
Right. Dude, so good, man. So good. Like I think like honestly, this space is filled with, like, if you go on YouTube or you read books or you whatever it is that you're doing, you are being filled with more techniques, more information, more knowledge, more how-tos, more things that you could do, and it starts to feel like you need to do everything in order to do one thing, which is just sell something to somebody.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And like if you can continue to just narrow in one process, that's how you scale. So like, you know, even for me right now, like even at my stage, you know, I teach using Facebook groups in my course, and even in my one-on-one coaching, I teach them how to do it. And I know that's even what you use to this day in order to attract business. And I think you're using LinkedIn now as well, but I haven't even touched LinkedIn, to be honest with you. I don't know personally about it. I still use Facebook groups. Like the client that I told you about where we spent like $2,000, made them back $8,000 this month. Like, I found him through a Facebook group, and we got on a call and we hung out and we got to know each other, and he wanted my service. And it's like, you know, that's the thing is it just comes back to having that core confidence in your service, and then just having one method to attract. One method.
Exactly.
People do they do cold calling, cold emailing, cold outreach. They do like 6 different methods. Just make it one, you know? And
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Speak to that a little bit. I think it's important that people know like how narrowed in your processes are. Like it's just like one thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also understand that, you know, like when you're learning from one, like the reason why you invest into one course or one mentor, like just as I did with Trey, is to understand that what he teaches is like a system, right? And everything is really just interconnected. And if you're going to go to YouTube and, you know, when you're setting the foundations, you listen to this guru, and when you do outreach, you listen to this guru, you know, like these parts aren't really going to complement each other. Right. So really what Trey talks about is like how to get a proper messaging in place. And once you know, like, once you have that, like you can present it in your outreach, and, you know, like it's going to resonate properly with the people you're reaching out to, right? That's what I mean with interconnection. And when you're just going on like YouTube to YouTube video, you know, like you're not going to have that exponential effect. So that is like a big thing with listening like to too many people, and hence why I just only listen to Trey, right? Like with his coaching program, and also like by going through like just his course essentially. And also like a person who referred me to like, cause I asked him, hey dude, should I join Consulting Accelerator by Sam Alvins? And he was like, hell yeah. And, you know, cause he gave me the thumbs up, I did. And, you know, like he's also a great teacher, Sam Alvins.
You're referring you to different people. Like I think Michael Hummel, you know, you've done
dude, Michael Hummel is insane.
Yeah, he's insane. He's freaking insane.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and even that's the thing, dude, is I completely agree with you. You know, like even for me, like I have 2 people I listen to right now, like 2. And it's because they're pretty much the same person, but just at different stages in life. One's much younger, one's much older. You know, but they have the exact same business techniques. And that's what you should do. Like just narrow down one way of doing things, one person to listen to. I don't think the merging of a bunch of people's opinions is the way to roll. I think you model one person and you make their techniques your own. Because I think even with Bass, like I'm even now learning from Bass and how he's handling all of the techniques that I helped him start with. So like he takes techniques that I taught him and innovates on them and turns them into something. And I'm like, frick, like I should be doing that too. Like it's crazy. Like that's what you want to do. You want to stick to one way of doing things for long enough that then you begin to see room for improvement and innovation in those techniques.
That's beautiful, man, because I also remember like you made a video which really resonated with me, like probably one of the best videos you've ever made in my opinion, where you talked about, you know, like how competition is irrelevant, and if you do what they do, you just become a branch of, you know, your competition, and you don't go past your competition. And hence why that part of innovation, you know, like is so crucial if you want to grow past, you know, like a certain figure, right? If you're just going to become like a branch of someone doing 10K a month, you will never grow past that 10K.
You'll never go past them. Exactly, dude.
Yes,
and
that's
dude, that's one thing that I really pride myself on, man. And I hate to like pat myself on the back here, but there's just nobody in the space that I know of that literally like prides himself on students that are about to or almost guaranteed will pass them up. You know, like, and I want to see that, because it shows me that I'm teaching principles that work.
Yeah.
I'm not just showing people how to be me, because I don't want to create me's. I want to create leaders. You know, leaders create leaders create leaders. It's like a pyramid, you know?
Yeah, it's like a chain
starting
effect.
With it's a chain effect, you know? And I don't want people to be capped at where I'm at, which is what most people do. Like, you know, you see a lot of the big people in the space, everybody just kind of wants to be them. They don't want to be principle driven. And that's the biggest thing that I try and fix with my coaching, with my one-on-one, especially in the course as well. It's like, I'm not showing you how to be me. I will show you what I'm doing, but I want to show you why what I'm doing works. So then you can apply the why to anything and everything that you do and see it work for you in your own, you know, in your own sort of world, in your own reality. So, yeah, dude, like, talk about where you want to take this thing. Like, where's this thing going? You know, like long term, like, I mean, I know neither of us really, we've talked about this. We really don't think that far out. Like, we think like right now, the next 6 months, maybe to a year. A lot of people are like, what's your 10-year plan? Dude, I don't freaking know. Like, I'm just going to do this really well and it's going to take me places. And I know that. But like, where do you want to see this thing go? Like, what do you think will happen the next year or 2 years?
Great question, man. So like, you know, currently me and Danique are, you know, like we're both like doing the agency and education, and we really want to scale up our agency under a company brand, so not a personal brand, so we can like potentially sell it in the future, right? So at this point, we just have picked one niche, and that's like all I'm gonna say. Like, we are just full on going like on the agency, because we truly also, like yesterday night, Danique retrieved back like close as she did like on her phone. We were just like scrolling through her photo album, and we literally found footage of her like closing 3-4K deals, and that literally gave us like such a strong drive to pick that back up and, you know, really focus and hammer on that. So I know for like at least the next 3 to 6 months, we're gonna focus on that mainly instead of like, you know, consulting. So that's like where like that's how far I'm thinking out so far. Like, so the next 3 to 6 months is just purely agency focused.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, when you start thinking like Bass does, like, you start to sort of view the world as like a bunch of like elements that you can shift around and play with and see something come of it. It's not, it's no longer like life does things to you. It's like you do things to life. Exactly. And then you see how life comes back and treats you. And then you figure out what you need to continue to do or not to do. Most people are reactive, but you got to be proactive and sort of create your business, create your life. And I think Bass has done that really, really, really well. Just for a moment, I'm going to pause the interview because my girlfriend is downstairs in the lobby. We'll be right back. I'm going to go pick her up. So I'm going to go do that right now, Bass.
Okay, sounds good, bro.
All right, sweet.
Amazing.
I'll just cut this. This is her. Hey, Demi.
Hi. This is like, oh my God.
This is like MTV,
my
man.
parents, Lily. This is my second parent.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I love
these
that.
This is who I was in Amsterdam with. If that Go.
Yeah, we're his parents.
Yeah, we just gave her
I heard.
a few days ago.
Yeah. This is actually Lily's first time being in my apartment when the sun's out. Like, she's typically here at night.
Oh, really?
So nice.
Yeah, she's
Or
like.
when it's really cloudy.
Or when it's really cloudy and,
Yeah.
and nasty here, because it gets very cloudy.
Indiana sucks.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Sweet. All right, we're back. Girlfriend's in the apartment. She's back there. Let her in. We kind of forgot exactly where we were. We apologize, but we did figure that we should probably talk a bit more about like some of the principles that we follow in terms of, you know, perspective on life and business, because really truly, as we've addressed, you know, the biggest thing that me and Bass worked on when we were just been together, you know, 6 months ago, it was not, you know, technical. It was not any, it was really just mindset, principles, standards throughout your life. And so I think I'd like to talk about that with you. So really kind of share your experience in terms of, you know, that concept of raising standards, because there's the idea that how you do anything is how you do everything. Like literally how you behave in private is going to be the state of your business, is going to be the state of your relationship. It's all one big thing. So really kind of share what that meant to you at the time and sort of how you applied that.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, this is a big one. I mean, this has been a big one for me, and I feel like this will really be valuable to other people too. And that is, you know, like living in denial. And, you know, like Sam Ovens talks about cause and effect, right? So action and reaction, and thinking that it doesn't apply to you, you know? So like, for instance, me just doing a little bit of outreach, kind of half-assed and thinking I'm going to get great results out of it, right? And then just playing video games and telling myself, you know, I've done outreach, I'll get great results, right? But in reality, I will get half-assed results because, you know, that's kind of the input I put in. And so like thinking, you know, inaction has no consequences for you is kind of deluding. So, you know, that's why Sam Ovens and, you know, like it's just referred to as living in denial. So don't do that. You know, like don't lie
That
to
was a big
yourself.
thing, dude. Like I think one of the things that we worked on was certain things in your life that you were kind of leaving up to the wind, that you were just kind of leaving in denial. You know, there's even things like the best thing you can do in business, honestly, is take an objective look at yourself and say, what have I not addressed in my life? Like, what are things that I'm leaving untouched? You know, and it's a very biblical, it's very rooted, very foundational idea that like, you know, how you do anything is how you do everything. And you know, if you are behaving one way in one area of your life and you're behaving maybe lazily or, you know, kind of slothful here, or you're cutting corners, you're going to cut corners in your business, and frankly your clients are going to cut corners on you as well. Like literally it gets to the point where if you're the type to cancel on meetings that you set up, or you're the type to ask for refunds a lot, you're going to have clients that do the exact same thing to you. And when I realized that I had to be the person I wanted to attract in my business and in my company. And I really had to just change who I was at a very core level. And this is one thing we talk about in my course as well. Like, and that one module has made my students more money than any of the technical has, because they realized, all right, if I want to attract, you know, the types of clients who are ready to pay the type of money I want, I need to become the type of person who would invest that amount of money into my business. And I need to think like that kind of a person. You don't know what you don't know, and people don't realize what they're missing until they would, for instance, go through that video. You know, I remember helping someone just out with their mindset, and I remember them I will ask them the question, like, you know, how is everything like on the mindset side of things? And they told me like, yeah, it's okay, like got a good mindset. I referred them to a video, and they were like, on the second call, wow, I didn't know anything actually, you know, Bass, like actually during the first call. And so people don't know what they don't know, and that's like a huge thing. Like people think, like a lot of the very popular thing in the business entrepreneur space is like have a good mindset, like quote unquote. What people think it means is you got to stay motivated, stay disciplined. That's definitely plays a role, but really mindset is like being the person you want to attract. That's a huge. There's a huge difference there. So I don't know, man. Like, what were some of honestly, if you can be transparent, what were some of the habits you had to kick in order to get to where you are now in business? Like, what were some of the things that you were doing that you had to just like turn off, kick, get rid of in order to get to where you're at? I'll be really transparent, and I'll just be transparent because I know there are people watching this that have had the same as I do, but probably wouldn't even mention it on the video because, you know, probably embarrass them. But honestly, I had, you know, first of all, a gaming addiction, and second of all, I had a porn addiction, right? And I had to get rid of that because what it does to your brain is like messed up, man. So I haven't watched that stuff in half a year now, and I realized that if you think that how it goes on in those videos goes like on in the real life world, you're in a relationship, it's gonna fuck it up. Okay, you can filter out that word, sorry, but like it's literally gonna do that for you and your relationship. You will be able to do nothing about it because that's like how your subconscious will be programmed. And you know, if your female interacts with another male, you think that's exactly gonna happen. That's really gonna mess up a lot of things. And those were like the two things for myself that I had to overcome, and you know, really had a better perspective over life and relationships. So you know, like and a lot of people will be like, oh, you did that, but dude, I know for a fact that like a lot of people struggle with this because it's like a problem in society with, you know, like being so easily accessible that a lot of people have it. Hence why, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm the only one having this, but trust me, so many people are dealing with this stuff. It is insane, and probably even more. Dude, it's wild, dude. Like, I think there's gonna be some people watching this who haven't watched my channel before, haven't seen you around, anything like that. They're like, this is an interview with a guy who's at like, you know, 40 to 50K monthly in revenue with their company from zero. And they're talking about gaming and porn addiction. Like, dude, that's the thing though, man. You don't understand that when you have these balls and chains, like that is what holds you back. There is no technical that you could ever learn if you're struggling with these things that will fix it. And I remember, you know, working with Bastiaan and just being like, dude, like you have to be honest with yourself. What are the areas in your life that you're sacrificing, that you're kind of meeting a standard that's holding you back? And gaming and porn, like especially for young men, dude, like it's just so common. It's just stupid how common it is. And so I don't know, man, like really it's crazy how directly related those things are. People don't realize how directly related, you know, the sorts of things you do in private are to, you know, how your business operates, who you become in life. So you got to make sure that, you know, who you are in public is who you are in private. I'm reading a really good book right now, sort of on like, you know, sort of mature masculinity. And it talks about how like you have to be one man in every scenario. You are not one person with your girlfriend, one person with your family, one person in business, one person privately. You are one person. In all of those areas, you are one person. And that's one of the things that we worked on together with Bass as well. Is like, dude, you got to have consistency, have a standard throughout all of your areas, and behave in the way that you want your business to behave with you. That's such good stuff, dude. That's freaking killer.
Exactly, man. And also a big thing, I think, like when I actually invested into Trey, I know like a lot of people, you know, for instance, if they don't sign up with me, I know they come back, you know, like they'll understand that you are the client you attract. And if you're on a call, I remember if I would say no to Trey, I would not, you know, get new consulting and agency clients, right? So literally, I remember you offering me that package, and I went just like with the biggest one, and, you know, went with the long-term commitment, because, you know, that's like the kind of people I want to attract, right? So that was like a big chain breaker for me, I guess, right? So becoming a client you want to attract, that's like key.
Dude, that's a huge thing, man. Like whenever I have somebody on like a sales call, like either from my agency to work with my team or with myself one-on-one, or even if they're making a decision on the course and they sit on the decision, it's like a half yes, half no, they don't make a decision, nothing ever happens. Either a no or a yes, man. Like, because literally I've worked with over 40 people probably 50 people now one-on-one at this point. And the ones who see the best results are the people who are like on the call. They're like, boom, yes, let's go. I'm going to do literally everything you say. And Bash was exactly that. He literally on the call said, I'm going to be your best student. Watch me do it. I'm like, sweet, awesome. Like, I'm like, prove your words, man. And now here we are, you know, you're literally about to pass me up. And probably, you know, this month you already have. And that's what I want, you know?
Yeah.
So
and not a lot of mentors say that, you know? That's really cool.
Dude, I don't know freaking anybody that says that. I really don't. Like, and I think, like, I don't know anybody that says that. Like, people think that you need to set a standard to like be a leader, be the man. But like, dude, I want people to look at principles, not, you know, me. I want people to look at principles. And same with you, you know, even with the people that you help now, you're at a position where you're helping people too. Like, it's not Bass, it's what actually works, and you're kind of just a vessel to bring it to them. You know?
Exactly.
Really,
it's like you have positioned yourself like as a servant, you know, which actually inspired me to look more into Christianity as like, you know, how can I position myself similar to Trey, not like Trey, but similar to Trey, where I have like that servant position. Because if you have that in business, like, you will be rewarded, you know?
Oh, dude. I'm telling you, man, when you make your business about what it does for others, then the money really honestly just flows. Like it just happens. And actually what's interesting is my girlfriend's back here and I'm about to talk about it. At one point she like brought up for me, she was like, Trey, like, you know, when we first started dating, like, things were going really well for you. I had like a really slow month in business recently. And she's like, now you're talking about numbers. When things are going well, you talk about people. When things are going poorly, you talk about numbers. And that freaking like, that really helped me realize that, I need to keep thinking about people. If I keep thinking about numbers and I keep thinking about like meeting bills and paying who I need to pay, and like it's not going to move the needle. And so literally one thing that I've challenged Bass to do is actually, this is something I'll be doing as well, is I'm hanging up pictures of the people that I work with and the clients that I have on my desk. And I'm literally I literally bought on Amazon like a little mini printer, and I'm just going to tape them on my monitor and on my desk and like around, because I want my business, I want this like workspace to be, these are the people I'm helping right now by typing on this keyboard, by getting on this sales call, by fixing this client issue. I'm helping these people. And that's what my business is about. And if it's about anything else, you're not here in the long term. Like, and that's what I've observed. It's just so easy to get up your own butt when you start to make a little bit of money and you're gone.
Yeah, it's super easy, you know, and I also wanted to mention this as you were talking about like numbers and people. So, you know, a lot of people just starting out with their agency or consulting business, what they do is they set like a monetary goal. But the problem with that is like, there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem with that is that people will optimize every single variable in their heads to make money. The way they converse, the way they, you know, do outreach, the way they talk to people. And, you know, you'll come across, you know, really needy, and really because of the fact that you've optimized your goal for just money and not serving your clients, right? And that's like a huge thing to be just like become aware of, and asking yourself instead, how can I like serve my clients and make it a long-term relationship? Like, that's a key switch, you know? So that's just something else I just wanted to drop by, that really helped me a lot.
That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing for you, Bass. I remember when we were starting too, because like, you know, and one thing for me, even like when my business scaled up, I scaled up my lifestyle really quickly. And there was like a period there where I was like freaking out because it was all about just supporting my lifestyle. And that's just such a crappy place to be in business, because it's not, you shouldn't be making money so you can pay bills, because then really your boss is just your apartment complex. your bosses,
that's true.
The loan you took out on a stupid watch purchase or whatever it might be,
Exactly.
And like that's where a lot of entrepreneurs arrive when they start to hit these higher numbers. Like they think the immediate thing they need to do is like go out, buy a nice car, buy a nice craft, and that's fine. Treat that part of your body, get it out of your system. I did it. I went out and bought a really expensive watch. I've got a really nice apartment, but it's all stuff I can afford because I make my business about the people that I work with. You know, and the money just flows. And I think people can subconsciously read, like when you're in a conversation with somebody, whether they realize it consciously or not, they can kind of know your intent. Especially on like a sales call. They kind of know what you're after. If you're after their money, they're going to feel it and they're going to be really turned off by that. They need to feel that you want to help them grow. And if they don't feel that, it's going to be really hard to get a close out of them. Really hard.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's a big thing. That's why making that key switch will really not only help you enjoy more, like the way you operate in business, but also like just establishing these long-term relationships, instead of like just a quick transaction. Like if you also let people know that by not only making it sound like it, but actually saying it like, hey, I know we're going to sign up together, but and I don't want it to seem like a quick transaction, but instead what like we always value when we conduct business is really establishing a long-term relationship. Like literally mentioning that, not just making it sound like that. Literally mentioning that will really do more positive things for you.
Yeah, I'm literally, I will literally be on sales calls and I'll be like, look, legally I can't guarantee any returns here. Obviously, like I'm gonna make you sign a contract, all this stuff. But look, honestly, if things don't work out and you're paying money that you don't want to pay, we're both humans. Let's talk about it. I'm not afraid of giving you money back. I'm not afraid of figuring something out. I really honestly just want to see your business grow. And right now, we've just had this past week at Co-Media, we had one of our clients who honestly wasn't happy. And he brought it to me because I opened that with him. I said, bring it to me if you're not happy. I won't take it personally. Let's talk. Man to man, we had a conversation about our goals. I said, all right, let's cut our retainer in half and continue working together. I want to scale you still. And when you can do that and do that with, with joy in your heart at the end of the day, like that separates you so much in this space. Just a little bit of honest selflessness and like wanting to see people succeed. Honestly, this industry is so cutthroat, filled with so many sharks that just a little bit of that
is so true.
Far.
That's, like if I could give one more piece of advice, really be careful who you listen to. Like if I could refer to a mentor / coach, it'd always be Trey, honestly, and no one else at this point, because like I've done it with him. I know him like probably better than he knows himself, like obviously not, but I mean I really know him super well. And if I would be able to like refer just a mentor that's like kind of above me in the sense of like business and mindset, right? I mean we're all equal, but if I would do that, it'd always be Trey.
Awesome. I love it, dude. I appreciate that. I don't know, man. I was telling Lily earlier that like one of my goals, like in my 20s, I want to create 100 millionaires. That's like my biggest all-time goal. And like
so cool.
you are literally so much closer to that than I think either of us realize. It's crazy. So it's kind of weird to think about actually, because you were like you literally were a gaming addicted, porn addicted dude, like no more than a year ago. And you took a jump and followed, and honestly, like I don't like even the stuff that I was telling you, I was like, I'm telling you this, but I don't even have this mastered in my life. But here's what I know you should do. I came from a perspective of just a vessel of like the things that I know need to happen. And you took them and you applied them in a way that I don't think people realize they're capable of doing. So I don't know, like hats off to you. I'm honestly just super proud of you and proud that,
thank you, brother.
You continue to reference me as a leg up in your success, and I'm excited to see where you get, man. I'm just freaking stoked for you.
And I'll be coming out in soon, man.
I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait.
It's gonna be so cool.
Be good. All right, well, I'll probably film a separate outro. If you have any last words you want to say, just any last piece of advice for the people watching this, if they're just beginning.
Sure.
I'd love if you just kind of like maybe something that you feel like we should have mentioned that we didn't, or just anything that comes to mind when you just want to give some general advice to somebody who's maybe just starting or has their first couple of clients.
Sure. So probably two things. And the first one may sound really cliche, but like the only way to not get where you want to be at is to either not start or to just quit. Okay. Like it's cliche, but it is the truth, and nothing is above the truth. Okay. And probably the other thing would be, keep things simple, honestly. Keep things simple. And I think like a lot of people that listen to videos and they're like, oh, but he's just saying focus on foundations and sales and outreach. And they're like, oh, it's not, well, it is that simple. It only becomes harder if you make it complex, complexer than it needs to be. If you try to remove the variables that are not necessary to get to the objective you currently have in the stage of your business, then remove them and add them back when you get to that stage. So keep things simple. So that's like the only two pieces of advice I would give to other people.
Love it, dude. I love it. All right, Bass, it's been a real pleasure. If anyone wants to check out any of his stuff, I'll put some links in the description if you just want to kind of follow his journey. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed the interview.
Yep, it was amazing.
All right. Yeah, good stuff.